Isn't it crazy how time works? I play through every single Resident Evil game on road to Resident Evil 8, and now we're past that. We're here with the next installment. This is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Don't go away. Remember when the rumors of Resident Evil 4 Remake started circling around and people thought, hey, there's no way this is true. It doesn't need to be remade. It's on every platform you can think of. It looks good. It still holds up today. And here I am reviewing the remake. Now, before RE4 Remake even came out, I was under the impression that I would honestly rather have a Resident Evil 1, 0, or Code Veronica, mostly Code Veronica remake in my opinion, or just Resident Evil 9. But sure, I'm not going to say, no, I won't play for a remake, because honestly, I was super hyped for it. Resident Evil 4 is not just my favorite Resident Evil of all time, but it's one of my favorite games of all time. That goes for a lot of people. Now, usually I start by talking about the story in games, but I actually want to talk about what is the best part of the original, the gameplay, the gunplay. Let's get into that. From the minute the demo released and I played for a good few hours into the night, replaying the village over and over, I kind of knew, hey, this is going to be pretty fun. Now, coming from the original to the remake for guns, they did what I would hope anyone would do. They didn't cut anything and they added a couple extra ones. Every gun that I can remember is back, plus a couple extras, most notably a new rifle, sniper rifle, which I honestly thought was a submachine gun at first, and a new actual submachine gun, which is basically like an MP5. Grenades return. You got the flashbangs, you have hand grenades, although they cut the fire grenade, and I really don't know why. In the remake, they opted for the flashbang, hand grenade, and then like big hand grenade, which really just has a bigger explosion. So it's basically the exact same thing as the normal hand grenade. Under weaponry is the knives. Now, I have to talk about this. It is a perfect example how to do a remake. You take something from the original, the knife, right? Didn't do a whole lot in the original. Of course, it was extremely useful to conserve ammo and still do damage and things. But you bring it into the remake and you add a parry system, a knife durability system. And of course, with any change going to a remake, you're like, oh, I don't know, shaky legs, cold feet. But it turns out to be my favorite part of the remake. You basically get two knives. You get your normal knife that Leon has had since the RPD and fully upgraded and maxed out. It's literally like rapid fire knifing. A little low on the damage side, but good durability, good speed. You get Krauser's knife. Extremely high damage, but a lot slower. Now, unlike some handguns or something, you really feel the difference between these two knives. And honestly, one of my favorite things to do while replaying through the game multiple times was just cycling between, using my Krauser knife for huge damage up front. Sure, I'm slower to break boxes and slower to fight, but it breaks, switch over to my super fast knife. Not as much damage, but I'm stabbing like crazy. And of course you have the parry system. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm high and low on the parry system here, but I'm gonna hope that it comes back in a future Leon game somewhere. The only problem I have with it is that the knives are completely overpowered, way too overpowered, to the point I would honestly want to see a patch come in or something. Seriously, the knives take all of the horror and tension out of the game. Oh no, Chainsaw Man? He actually can't one-shot me because if I just tap L1, it's an instant block. In the original, there was no blocking the Chainsaw Man. If he's running at you, you don't have a, whoops, get out of jail free button, click. If you're cornered, you die. In the remake, it's completely overpowered. This is why my favorite playthrough I did was on Professional. The difference is, on Professional, your parries only work if it's a perfect parry. Basically almost frame perfect. A perfect parry completely blocks the enemy's attacks, stuns them at the same time, and leaves them vulnerable to a melee attack. And because the knives are so integral to everything you do in this game, it changes up the gameplay loop a lot, and for the better. because now it's not just spam L1 every time an enemy's by, and it's like, I'm gonna block it anyways, because if I'm spamming L1, there's no way the enemy gets a shot in. Like, the first frame the enemy attacks, it's automatically blocked. Might not be perfect, but I can still block them and buy time and follow up with a shotgun blast or something. But on professional, with the perfect parry only, anytime you parry, it felt like I got myself out of a situation. Not me spamming a game mechanic, but I actually denied a guy's attack by doing something at the perfect time.
I'm a little fucking busy here with him. Okay, loud. Oh, she died.
Speaking of guns, you know what rhymes with it? Fun. I honestly don't see any RE game going forward. Even if it's like a 5 remake, they'll implement a merchant somehow. RE9, merchant. Revelations 3, merchant. Now, hot take. This could be a very hot take indeed. The merchant here is just as good as the original. Just to rip the band-aid off, just like that. From the early trailers, the voice sort of rubbed me the wrong way. I guess you could say I wasn't used to it, but it's just the merchant here is somehow more cool. Like the original merchant, mysterious. This merchant seemed just more cool and laid back and stuff. And some of his voice lines were great. Particularly this one was my favorite.
We like our herbs, we do. Heal a man, kill a man, they do it all.
I honestly don't see a RE game from here on forth that doesn't have a merchant. It would be a complete loss, an L, big L, if in my opinion. The merchant also comes with a few bonus side missions, all optional. Just small things like, go back and kill a few sewer rats. They're annoying me. And you go back, you get a few spinels. Or, you know, go back and kill this dog monster, things like that. But arguably the even better upgrade that the remake did over the original, involving the merchant, is his shooting ranges. In the original, the shooting ranges were okay. They're a cool spot to test your abilities and stuff, unlock the hand cannon, and just, you know, mess around in there. In the remake, you have a whole lot of fun in there. I couldn't help but smiling on the inside when you have Ashley behind you cheering you on.
3, 2, 1, begin!
Show 'em what you got.
God damn, I gotta be honest. The best soundtrack of the remake is when you unlock the bonus stage for any firing range mode. Not only is it a quick thumbs up to the original soundtrack in RE4 at the very beginning, but it also is just like so entertaining, fun. I'm running out of ways to describe this, so just take a listen because this is really fun.
It's a bullet bonanza! Fire everything you've got!
Look at all of them. Now's your chance.
Keep up that pace! That'll do it! I'm speechless.
So what's the reward for completing these firing ranges? Well, they are tokens. Well, what do you do with these tokens? Well, you insert it to a slot machine for charms. Now, what do charms do? Charms are basically passive abilities. When I first heard of charms being implemented to RE4, I cried on the inside for a minute in panic because I thought they were going to nickel and dime us with a microtransaction store full of charms. Thank every god to ever exist that is actually earnable through in-game mechanics. Now, these don't do a whole amount of things. I do like that they use original designs for the charms. Small things like plus 15% submachine gun ammo bonus, or plus 15% herb health gain, small things like that. You do have epic ones and stuff like that, but overall, charms is just one of those things that, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, that was my favorite part of the game, but I will say I didn't mind it really at all. But I really want to get to the story here. So enough about gameplay, let's get to the story. Famously going into RE4 Remake, they said they wanted to make the game again, right? But with a better story. And hilariously, I thought they failed. Again, that is probably a hot take, but hear me out. Every story that I've heard is always carried by characters. And in my opinion, Every single character in the remake for RE4 is worse than the original except for 2. Yes, Ashley got the biggest upgrade. Now, I will say, Ashley in the original is no problem. There's nothing wrong with Ashley in the original. She does act like a young 20 college student. Yes, at times you could argue her AI could get into trouble, get into the way, and get shot up a few times, but that's nothing to do with the character itself. Ashley here is just way more likable and seems like a way more real person. And they just give her a lot more voice lines to make her seem like a actual companion in the game other than just a machine that screams for help. And the only other person I see getting an upgrade in character is Krauser. Now you might be thinking, what are you talking about? Aren't you the guy who said the best part of Resident Evil 4 Original is Krauser? I did say that, and I still stand by that, but Krauser in the remake is still on the same goddamn level.
Long time no see, rookie.
Major Krauser? What the hell? Why?
Recovering stolen goods.
Not even talking about his visual or voice acting here, just his backstory, it really seems like Leon has a huge amount of respect. As much as he dislikes Krauser, he has a huge amount of respect for him, for teaching pretty much everything that he knows. Everybody else, huge downgrade in my opinion. Let's talk with the biggest one, Salazar, aka Ramon. I hate to have to call him Ramon here in the remake. In the original, he was just this punk-ass looking old man, 20-year-old, overconfident, whack-ass character, to the point where he got so aggravated, he literally just crashed his CPU while on a call with Leon. In the remake, all he does is Mr. Kennedy. To the point he says that like 3 times in a row without saying anything else. Like literally every single scene from the original to the remake is downgraded. No more voice calls where Leon and Salazar are just roasting each other on the call.
Thanks. Keep me company, cause boredom kills me.
I look
Roasted.
forward to our next encounter in another life.
This guy's just going at it.
Leon throwing the knife right through Salazar's hand as he gets super overconfident. Nope, that doesn't happen. Now he just walks in and claps and then walks away. And speaking of the second biggest villain here, Sadler, also a huge downgrade in my opinion. In the original, you meet him directly in the church and he tells you why he's there, what he's doing, what his plan is. Here, you just see like a flashback scene or like some weird thing, and he's like, the lost lambs have escaped, get them. And they don't see him till the island where he comes out with his 2 little sidekicks, who by the way disappointing because I thought they're going to be like these new enemies. They just die in a cutscene. And literally all Sadler says and spits out like vitriolic fucking diarrhea is just stuff about the cult. Ada. I'm not even going to talk about voice acting right now. We'll do that in the presentation. Just Ada as a whole doesn't show up in as many scenes as the original, of course. Lewis takes her spot in the Krauser fight. I know we're gonna get separate ways, and I think they did do Ada justice towards the end of the game. Like the final like 20 minutes, I think Ada showed up pretty well. But, I mean like, I think they just could have done like a couple extra Ada scenes where she was in the original.
I'm not even kidding you. Ada's not here. Ada's not in this fucking game, bro.
Damn it.
I spoke too
Looking
soon.
for something?
Shut up, Ada.
Lewis was pretty okay, but I did like him in the original more because he's just more of a comic relief character here. For some dumb reason, in stories nowadays, there always has to be a character that's specifically there for nothing but comic relief. In the original, Lewis is just this normal, mysterious dude, is just trying to amend for some past mistakes that Leon really has no idea about. In the remake, Leon is the serious cop, and here's the comic relief character. Yes, they do share some same lines, but listen to the delivery on these.
Why are you helping us?
Because it makes me feel better. Let's leave it at that.
Why are you?
It makes me feel better. Let's just leave it at that.
Small side characters like even Hunnigan and Mike got derailed. Because the intercom scene with Hunnigan now is no longer an actual cutscene, guess what? When that happens, I don't care what's happening on the Hunnigan screen because I'm trying to break boxes and go throughout the level. I'm no longer paying my full attention to a scene with Leon and Hunnigan. And even Mike showed up as the second comic relief character here. In the original, he's just this cool guy that showed up, started blasting away. He's like, yo, cool, my name's Mike. In the remake, he's like, my name's Mike. I'm here to kill dudes.
Now that's what I call backup.
My name's Mike. You looking for firepower, you come to the right place.
Sorry, bad traffic. One combat chopper compliments the Hunnigan.
And of course, as the ultimate hidden backlog character, Wesker, I don't really have a lot to say on that because he's in there for like 25 seconds. But of course, everyone thinks it's coming, just as they thought RE4 Remake was coming, so you know what's happening. RE5 Remake is coming. Wesker's here, full model, ass voice. That's all I can say. Now, presentation, let's start with the thing that I was absolutely the most nervous about. There's no secret. In Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake, the soundtracks are non-existent. Even the save themes are dead-ass quiet, to the point where I refuse to play 2 Remake without the soundtrack swap. And to my unholy surprise, the Resident Evil 4 Remake soundtrack, pretty dang good. I will put an asterisk at that and say everything before the El Gigante fight is pretty not good. The village fight scene just sounds way too like high-tech fucking action shit, but once you start to get into it and you get into some El Gigante fights, or even at the end towards the island fight or in the water hall fight, soundtracks pop and are on the screen. Which in my opinion is how they should be. Soundtracks should never be in behind things. Soundtracks should be part of the experience. They're very underrated. Continuing on with the sound design of things, I want to get a quick little thing out of the way. Shotgun blast in this game, there's no way to put it other than it just sounds weak. I mean, sure, the power you're getting out of things and the way you're blowing through guys' bodies is cool, like the visual aspect, but just listen to these side-by-sides of shotguns from the remake to the original. Something that I've seen the community actually complain about itself, and honestly, I noticed it too right away, and I wish in Professional it fixed this. I wish in Professional mode it took away the amount of yellow paint just splattered everywhere. It's no secret that game companies use usually yellow tape, yellow this or that, or some sort of trademark look to indicate this is where you're supposed to go. Now, I really don't mind that. There are games out there that is hard to tell where it's supposed to go. But in Resident Evil 4 Remake, I mean, it's just absolute baby hand-holding here. Like, buckets. Like, there's a locker. Just make it completely yellow. Spill fucking paint like crazy. Like, it was so bad to the point where I got to the castle, and I saw a vase, and I broke it, and there was an item in it. I was like, oh my god. I felt like I found that, and not the game gave it to me for free. Bouncing around to another design thing, the Garradors, in my opinion here, I just prefer the original. The Garradors are just, I don't think they're just that good here. They just seem like your normal run-of-the-mill monsters. I never had that oh shit moment. In the original, I still have that oh shit moment. Looking at this dude, you hear the music, his eyes are sewn shut. I can't tell what it is, but something is off for the Garradors for me. Maybe it's this super creepy way that they would just use their claws and walk around like this. And if they hear a single sound, they sprint to you. And in the remake, they walk around like this. And if they hear a sound, they'll just turn that way. It's like, okay, well, whatever. Apart from those things that I think that the remake was lacking, everything else was a one-to-one remake, except for the JJs. They completely changed, which is okay. It's whatever. They're pretty much the same thing. They changed it from this into Inosuke from Demon Slayer.
All right, Gunpachiro Kamapoko, I'm gonna bring you death.
What the fuck is that? Yo, it's Inosuke from fucking Demon Slayer. But in all seriousness, it is a one-to-one remake for every run-of-the-mill enemy. And I say run-of-the-mill enemy because if we're talking big enemies, as in the top two, Salazar and Sadler, their design went down the toilet. Salazar looks more sinister. Yes. but he never does anything sinister at all. Like, the original one is more sinister because he doesn't look as sinister, but still locks you in a room with the ceiling collapsing on you with spikes. He drops the trap door on you. In the remake, he's just like, Mr. Kennedy. And I've seen a lot of people say that Sadler's look is cool. In my opinion, it just makes him look like another run-of-the-mill monster. In the original, he was the cult leader of everything that was going on, and he looked like a normal dude. He just looked like a dude in a hood walking around. And that's not to say his spider form is forgettable, because his spider form is super good and just as good as the original. It's just Sadler walking around as a normal dude is definitely not my thing. But if we're talking other characters' visual designs and voice designs and stuff, it's looking pretty good. Visually, Lewis is good. Ada, really freaking good. Ashley's good. Leon, I gotta be honest, Leon looks like he's been through some shit, which does make sense. I do prefer the original, but this does make sense. Krauser design here is perfect. But if we're talking voice acting, again, the only two that stick out to me, Ashley and Krauser. I can't believe I'm saying Krauser again. People are gonna put me up and tie me to a tree for this, but Krauser's voice here is awesome. Even myself included, from watching the trailer, I heard Krauser's voice, I nearly puked a full hydroblast stream.
I've been waiting for you, rookie. That's just like you. You always had poor judgment. If you think I'm gonna let you out of here alive, you're even more naive than I thought.
But playing through the game, I don't know, there's something about his visual design and mocap in his face or something in his voice. It just screams something. Krauser's fight, especially in Professional, is an absolute bloodbath, but even when you're not fighting him, he's constantly on you with voice quips.
You're slow. So goddamn weak.
And the delivery, some of these are just awesome. Like, he's not doing a physical blow, but it sounds like he's putting so much force or power through some of his voice lines. Take this one, for example. You're not fighting him at all. He's literally just throwing a grenade. It would have been very simple for him to just go, oh, you're doing good. Here's your medal. But instead, he's like, oh, good. Here's your medal.
You passed with flying colors. Here's your medal.
Now, we all knew we were going to get here. Ada's voice lines are bad. I like her design. 50-50 on her implementation of the story. Voice lines, it would be like, let's just say if I was Ada's voice actor and I was doing a review on the game, this is how I would do it. Ada's voice actor is pretty good. You know, sometimes it just sounds like she's bored. And I really think that she could have done
very smooth.
So for overall impact, my personal opinion on the game, listen, I knew coming in when this was announced, I already knew it won't surpass the original's legacy. In fact, that's why Capcom almost didn't remake it, because they didn't want to touch their baby, pretty much. This was the golden egg of Capcom, and the best they could do was just not fuck it up. Don't pull a fucking RE3 bullshit thing. Just create a good, faithful game. And they did. I really do think this is a very, very solid game, a very solid entry into the Resident Evil series. Sure, I am putting this game under a microscope because I'm such a huge fan of the original. And there are some things it just doesn't do. U2 is not as good in the remake because he doesn't exist. Well, he doesn't exist. Head-popping enemies isn't as satisfactory due to lack of sound design there. Treasures, I can't believe I'm saying this, not as fun in the original. I've seen people say it's like simpler or better. I like treasures more in Resident Evil 8 than I do here. Yes, I'm not saying I hate them. I like the treasures here, just not as much as high level, because guess what? They've lost their entire identity here. Everything here can be swapped in and out with whatever you want. Oh, look at the treasure map. There's something over there. Let me go. Oh, I got my 7th yellow round jewel. Or, oh, I got my 5th purple square jewel. I really wish they just kept the original. You get the elegant mask, and there's 3 out here that fit for it. That way, everything's specific and unique. Oh, kill an Ovisador. I get a blue eye, a green eye, a red eye. I wonder what I'll get. I think I'm the only one who notices this, but the characters seem to be weirdly out of breath all the time. Seriously, it got to the point where I stopped playing the game, turned around to look at Ashley, and she was just like, ugh.
Ashley, you can be okay, man.
The entire village and swamp and farm area and pretty much everything up to the castle, I felt like design was weaker than the original. In the original, it felt like a town. Here's this village, here's the farm, it goes down to the lake, there's a little swamp area. Here you do have the village, farm, swamp, lake area, but it's so cluttered. It's like a maze. It doesn't seem like a normal town. It doesn't seem like a normal farm or a normal swamp. This is not a normal farm. There is not like buildings and weird shit in the way. Of course, the castle I felt was on par with the original, and I will say the island was better than the original.
Let me guess.
Ashley not having a health bar was a problem because I played a standard mode, a hardcore mode, a professional mode. Did anybody have Ashley die once? Because I did not. In the original, she was something that you had to be aware of. Here it's like, oh, Ashley gets picked up, click R2 to instantly knife, which I kind of dislike because then it's like you don't have that moment of, I have to shoot this guy, so he drops Ashley without shooting Ashley. Now it's just R2 to insta-stab kill that enemy. But just like how the island was better than the original, there's a lot of stuff this game actually does surpass the original. Ashley, enough said. The knife system. Customization with charms and cases. The spider version of the Lost Plagas in the original was just a normal spider walking around. Here in the remake, if something comes in, it can take control of another dude and make him just go haywire on your ass. There was a part in the remake, which was one of my favorite parts, where literally like 13 of them come over and I started panicking. I'm like, we're gonna have chaos. I won't be able to handle this if 13 guys start running at me.
Oh god. Yo, this is crazy. This is some alien level shit, bro.
The shooting range is a huge upgrade. And like I said at the beginning of this category, personally for me, I knew this would not surpass the original coming in. There is just so much that this game does good, and there's no better example than for me to show you this video. Professional mode, which is what I suggest for the perfect parries only. This showcases the knife system, the parry system, and Krauser, aka the 3 best things in my opinion in this remake. And combined with the music in the background, this is what I'll remember the most from the original remake. And this just alone is reason enough for me to go back and play through the entire story once again.
A challenge. What was that? Where is your instinct?
God, those fights are fucking awesome.
So with all that being settled down, I think it's time to give this game a score. We're looking at 8.7 out of 10. So that's it. I can't believe it. I heard rumors of Resident Evil 4 Remake, then we got the trailer of Resident Evil 4 Remake, then the demo, then I played it 3 times on my 4th, and now I'm reviewing it, and now you're watching it and the review's out. Debate is up in the air about what we are getting next. Revelations 3, RE9, Code Veronica Remake, RE1 Remake, 0 Remake? In my personal opinion, we should have RE9. Get that out of the way. Then do a Revelations 3 on the side. Then come back, and if you do want to do RE5 Remake, which I totally forgot to mention, you have to flesh out your main series villain in Wesker. You have to do RE1 Remake, followed by Code Veronica Remake, which would be a sequel from 2 Remake, then do RE5 Remake. Because if you do 5 Remake, nobody knows who Wesker is from anything else, and he's just going to seem like a normal dude walking around being a bad guy. So with all that being said, there's no doubt in my mind this is the longest review I've ever done. I will double check that and put it here on the side. If it is, that is quite an accomplishment, because Witcher 3 was the longest review ever done, and that had a very, very long record hold. Whenever the next Resident Evil is, you know I will be there. But for now, I'm your host, Saberplanet Entertainment. I appreciate this review. Peace out.
How did I get a stealth kill off there? What the fuck? Arrow dodge! The most fucking insane arrow dodge of all time.
What is up? I know what you're thinking. You're only here for the bonus Easter egg soundtrack I put in at the end of every video. But did you also know I have a donation page under Buy Me a Coffee? Donate whatever you want to my channel, and I'll put half that back to an environmental charity. So that's that. Enjoy the music. Peace out.